I'm going to try a new angle today. Let's see how that works. So I'm going to look up to the camera, and I just thought, I don't know, just to change a little bit. Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are, and welcome to this session. Today, I'm basically just going to talk you through a little bit how I would approach a very typical hatha session. I'm not going to do a lot of movement. I'm going to place you in asanas. We're going to work on the breathing and the alignment and the quality of the mind. That very attentive mind within the asanas. And yeah, we'll see where we land. Okay. I would suggest you have a blanket as usual, maybe a strap, a belt, or a scarf, maybe some yoga blocks, some you might want, pillows. First, we find ourselves in the comfortable seated position. And as always, I must stress and emphasize comfortable. Yes, not like it should look like, but you have to feel like you're at home within your sitting posture. Today I feel a little stiff in the hips, so I have my blanket below that raises the pelvis slightly, which allows for the hips to really relax and sink. And then I can place the pelvis right in the middle, where I feel like the pelvic bowl is almost like a barrel that is stabilizing that effortless lengthening of the spine, which is the next thing. Soft hips, that barrel-like pelvis that is completely relaxed, allowing the sit bones to sink. And then within that, we have the spinal cord that wants to move out effortlessly. So we don't try to tighten around the abdomen, the abdominal wall. We try to keep it as soft, as open as possible, and really almost feel like a snake-like movement from the spine as it lengthens very slowly. And then we relax our diaphragm. Then we relax our shoulders. Relax our mouth, our jaw. Close your eyes. See where you can find the breath within your posture. A natural place would be the diaphragm or a little bit below the diaphragm. You will probably find when you start investigating that breath can be found in different areas, in different strength of feeling or strength of reception. Those are the areas that are more relaxed, or possibly the areas that you are used to breathing towards. Now we're going to try to even that breath very much. So we're going to balance your breathing. And we do that by addressing it through the diaphragm. Diaphragm is relaxed. Take your next inhale and apply a soft ujjayi, very soft, almost like for your ears only, a real whisper. Notice if that opens the breath a little bit. Probably does. Continue. You will find that in the places where you don't experience the breath as strongly, there's probably tension in that area. See if you can now take your breath and draw it towards the area where it's more difficult for it to reach. Apply the same soft ujjayi. Just give it a try. As you continue to investigate the areas of tension and relaxation in your abdominal cavity through your breathing, you will find that this shifts very much. Place some constant awareness in your diaphragm, making sure that it's soft. Remember that metaphor of the jellyfish. You want it to dance like a jellyfish in water to the rhythm of your breathing. And when that diaphragm is completely relaxed, then it will distribute the energy of the breath much more evenly in your abdomen. And it's going to feel very calming. It's going to feel very soothing, almost like that little massage in the belly that I usually talk about. Keep breathing. When I feel like I have settled into my breath, when you feel like you have settled into your breath, just let the weight of your head hang down. No pushing, just the skull leaning forward in space. See if you can maintain the same openness in the chest, the same soft, heavy relaxation in the shoulders and arms, and the same effortless lengthening of the spine. Continue your breath practice. Apply that soft ujjayi. Let it grow a little bit bigger. Let it explore your body. Let it explore where the breath can be felt in the body. Now, after I've been breathing for some time, I usually start feeling the breath even lower in my hips. I start feeling it in the lower back, spreading around the sacrum in the back of the hips. And it feels so nurturing, so stretchy, but from the inside, in a very relaxed manner. See if you can access other areas with your breathing. The hips, the pelvic floor, lower back, sacrum, the back of the hips. And then just lean your head towards your right shoulder. Maybe give extra weight to the left shoulder, just slightly. Find that angle of the skull. Leaning down with the ear or leaning down with the chin will catch differently, so choose where you want it or where you need it most. Internal practice of breath continues. Spine is tall, hips are heavy, hips are relaxed. Diaphragm is soft, dancing to the rhythm of your breathing. The breath keeps without any expectation, keeps exploring the body, almost like a flashlight that leads the way to all the corners that you normally are not aware of. And then we roll through center and we lean our head down towards our left shoulder. Same thing. Wide chest, heavy right shoulder, tall spine, soft belly, big breath, calm breath, exploring breath. And then we slowly roll back center. Now we're going to interlace our fingers behind our back. We're going to pull the hands a little bit down towards the floor diagonally and a little further away from the lower back. We do that so we can open the front of the shoulders, the heart area, the solar plexus, the top of the rib cage. And then we apply breath very specifically in the area that we're working with, just like you did before. Now the breath needs to find a more top, the more upper part of your torso. So it searches for width in the diaphragm, wants to widen the rib cage, just like an accordion. Wants to open in the chest, wants to feel as though you're massaging your heart, massaging your sternum. And then on your next exhale, just let that go. Lean the body forward. Place your hands in front and use the hands to push the bum back onto the floor so the sit bones don't lift up. You still want to have that anchor from the pelvis. Both sit bones coming down with equal weight, but the hips are relaxed. Then from here, just let your elbows soften and let the weight of your head drop. I usually do the progression into the asana very slowly. The reason being is that there are details on the way before you reach your maximum potential, where there is a part that feels interesting, that feels tense, that feels that it needs a bit of care, a bit of work. When you find such an area, should you find such an area, stop. See if you can localize that breath and be very precise, specific about the location. And then maybe you feel like coming down a little more whenever it feels appropriate, if it feels appropriate. Then drop into the full forward bend. Relax the weight of your head and let gravity help you. Soft shoulders. Whenever we are in a forward bend, at least for me, it feels like stay where you are in your forward bend. It feels like the whole back gets exposed, and I can really work with the breathing in localized areas in the back around my kidneys that usually get tired. I have a left side here, a rib cage that went a little out a couple of years ago, so that still feels like there's scar tissue. There's some work to be done there. And so I use these forward bends not as a way to maybe go all the way and get very flexy in the hips, or another forward bend, which would be like a parallel forward bend or a down dog, but I use it very much to work my spine, applying breath, feeling the potential of those intercostal muscles as they move under the influence of the breath, feeling how the diaphragm becomes alive and almost a little vibrant, feeling how the body heats up and at the same time calms down from that breath. All right. Now let's slowly, slowly roll all the way back up, sitting. And then we're going to go here. Oh, I know it feels a little early in the practice to go here, but we're not going to make a big one. I would say come to one that feels comfortable. Maybe you want to keep your knees bent in the beginning. Look what happens. Now with me, you won't see it that much, but when the legs are straight, very often this tightness in the hip joint occurs. So by just softening the knee joint, you also soften a little bit more in the hip joint, and it becomes easier to work if you want to go into a forward bend or just to sit upright without too much discomfort. I will give a little steering to my heels, a feeling of energy through the leg, even if the knee is bent. For those of you with more range, you can of course go to full range here, or you can let it relax a little bit more, feel more um, muscle work in the legs if you want. Stay upright for a little bit and find your breathing. Every posture has a psychological component where if we experience any sort of pain or there's an old injury there, then the breath is going to get a bit wary, a little suspicious again. It's like there's a memory bank in the diaphragm and it tenses up when we touch upon ancient pain. So come back to that feeling of really breathing into your diaphragm, using that breath to loosen it out, to soften those tensions, to care for those scars. And if you don't feel tortured enough already, then let's lean forward. Same thing here. We place our hands first. I spread my fingers wide and I use the palm of the hand to push the sit bones back on the ground. And should you feel like there's space in your hips, in your inner thighs, then by all means go a little further down. Depending on the day I have, sometimes I would just hang there in a very yin-like fashion. Sometimes I make sure that there's a very strong sense of mula bandha in my practice, so I really work the lengthening of the spine and the precision of the placement of the sit bones and the tailbone. Today I feel a little saucy, so I'm just going to yin into it. And then let's slowly, slowly come up. So that was the inner hips. Let's do something for the outer hips. Slowly bring your feet back in. Let's come to this position. I'm going to come down from my blanket. Allow both sit bones to sink to the ground. Remember, it's that pelvic alignment that is a key to so much healing of the alignment of the spine. Grab hold of the opposite wrist and just allow yourself to sink down here for a bit. Feel both butt cheeks sinking down on the ground. And then very slowly, using that grip with the opposite wrist, start lengthening the spine in that snake-like, effortless manner as though the spine is floating upright. Use the last little bit and reach, better word, reach your heart a little further up, like diagonally upwards, as though I would aim my heart at the camera right now. And then sink that right sit bone back down. Relax your shoulders, find length in the neck, length in the spine. Soften, relax your diaphragm, apply breath. I have a lot of injuries in my right hip, a lot of old injuries, so the position has, once again, what I mentioned before, kind of like a memory trauma built into it. So I can feel that my diaphragm gets affected and my breath wavers slightly. If that is the case, if you encounter such a occurrence in your practice, use your ujjayi practice. It's really, really nice. The volume control of that ujjayi, when you crank it up a little bit, it does have that penetrative power that allows the mind to keep diving into the breath and for the breath to courageously keep opening the body from the inside. Let's take it a little deeper, if we can. Adjust my foot a little. Since my hip is a little out of whack from history, I actually don't put my heel down, but I keep the metatarsal down on that foot. So I get a little more height from that lower leg since I have short legs. I place the knee in the elbow, like so. And then I start moving the left part of my lower abdomen towards the right inner thigh. So the effort of the asana happens very much around your center. Lower left abdomen towards the right inner thigh. And then lengthening the spine, I think of my left nipple moving towards my right inner knee. Lowering the shoulders, trying to find that width in the chest, but above all, finding my way back to that way of breathing where the breath will inspire me to relax, even though this actually hurts. Now, if you don't want to use the volume control of your ujjayi, then be very mindful of the tone of the breath, of the qualitative tone of the breath. It wants to feel like a wave sweeping in, where there are no edges, no sense of hunger in that breathing, but just a sense of assistance, that you're really trying to help your body, or understand your body, get to know your body, but without any violence. And then slowly we let go and we come to the other side. For me, this hip is much easier. No, I fall down to the ground easily. Yeah? So I go right into it. I lengthen the spine. Try to find that effortless lengthening, that little bit of bravery from the heart reaching up while the shoulders sink down. Trying to maintain that length in the neck with that ease in the neck as well. Soft mouth, relax your jaw, dive into your breathing. And then I'm going to take it a bit deeper. I bring the knee into the elbow. Um, I never talked about the other arm. Sometimes I hold it here. Yeah. Sometimes I place it behind me. Sometimes I find another place. I focus much more on the alignment of the spine. Not that the arms are supposed to hold me there, but more like my own internal alignment work and to creating a strong but supple musculature around that alignment. I try to let that be the compass for the position, not pulling it into depth. Once again, we're not entering into posture to challenge ourselves. We're entering into posture to know who we are within that posture, within that situation. And then we try to apply intelligence, kindness, and of course, breath until we feel like we're home, even though it's a little uncomfortable. Okay, and then from here we slowly withdraw. Now I'm going to bring you into this posture. I think it is called Janu Sirsasana. Place the right heel on the left inner thigh. See if you can square off your hips. If you can't sit down on the floor comfortably, please use your blanket, pillow, yoga block, whatever you need. Some of you might want to have your strap at hand or your belt at hand because we're going to lean forward here and we haven't really moved, so the hamstring is probably a little cold. Wrap the strap around your metatarsal and then pull from your hands as though you wanted the femur bone to move deeper into the hip. So pull it back into you. You will find that that accesses a relaxation here, deep relaxation in the hip. It's very comfortable and which will allow you to ground even more to the base of the pelvis. When you have placed your femur bone, then maybe, let's see, how would I approach this? You can either walk your hands forward like so, or you can stay upright and you can pull your heart a little closer towards your left big toe. You will find that that also works the hamstring. But some of you may find that leaning forward, it hurts the lower back, it's not good for you, you've done that too much, your hips feel too ungenerous still. Then sitting upright like this and like almost like hanging back from the strap, it's quite nice. And you'll find when you ease up on the challenging aspect of the posture, then finding the essence of your practice within that posture is much easier. Finding a sense of clarity, calm, finding a sense of wanting to care for your body, using that very skillful, exploring breath. Some of you, we're going to stay a little bit longer. Some of you may already feel like you want to bow all the way down and let your head hit the knee, or you want to go kind of Ashtanga style all the way here. Just make sure, if you go Ashtanga style all the way here, that your whole time spent in posture is not spent just striving. You don't need to strive within your yoga practice. You strive enough in your daily life. So relax a bit, take down your shoulders, maybe loosen the grip a little bit, fall into your breathing. Let the breath claim space both in mind and body. Let it carry that tone, that quality, that care. Let it soft and relax your diaphragm, widen your rib cage. And then you give that hamstring some time. And you notice what happens with the hamstring over time, especially when you treat it with, I would say, almost respect, like we do now. Not pushing it, wanting to go further, but allowing it to stretch out slowly. You will find that when you take that approach, that it shifts quite quickly. Just you relaxing your mind and relaxing the muscles, then you'll be able to dive just a little bit deeper without it costing you effort. From here we come out, slowly, slowly. Now let's come into a twist. Place the left hand on your right leg. Place your right hand behind you and almost lean back on that right hand so you feel like you have a pillar where your spine can almost, you can rest upon. This allows you to really soften the belly, and when the belly softens, since we're working with a twist, of course it's much easier to gain access to that spine. If there are some of you out there that feel very spacious or have a lot of years, we can of course do this as well. This, if you can reach it, is really nice because you can really lock yourself within the posture, and it's an easy posture for the spine also to relax on the forearm. Some energy in the legs, some energy in the feet, not too much. A lot of energy in your breathing. Finding the tone, creating space with that breath. Okay. Let's come back center and we shift over. Other side. Extend your right leg, bring your left foot in, try to square off your hips. Remember, if you need a blanket or a block or whatever, make yourself comfortable. Take your strap, wrap it around your metatarsal, place your hands, and then proceed to pull the leg a little deeper into the hip joint, and you find that softening in the front of the hip that facilitates the relaxation of the abdominal wall and the ease of breathing. Relax your diaphragm. And then if you want, you use this method, lifting the heart, moving it tiny bit closer to the right toe, the right toes, and you'll find that you feel that in the hamstring, even though you're sitting upright. You can of course walk a little further forward, make like a diagonal position, lengthening the top of the head diagonally upwards and forwards. Remember to keep both sit bones down so that ambition doesn't pull you out of alignment. Oh, it sounds so wisdomous. Okay. And then very softly, we're gonna slowly, slowly come up and we do the twist. Find your posture, stay in Janu if you want, Janu Sirsasana, or come up here. We place the right hand and the left hand. Try to find that weight, that balance from both sit bones sinking down. A little bit of energy in both legs. Tall spine. Relax your shoulders. Some actually, no, some no. I, I actually like when I do these twists to keep that external rotation of the arm that is in front. I like it because it allows my chest to keep that same width. And then breathing feels a little easier. I feel easier and more relaxed in the shoulders and around the heart. And even if my arm doesn't reach all the way, it's okay. It feels very comfortable there in its external alignment. Okay, then we come back front. Let's do both feet. Stretch your legs forward. Take your belt strap scarf, place it around your feet like so. And instead of pulling both legs in, it's a little complicated. I kind of walk my sit bones backwards. Try to get rid of that fleshy part so I can feel like I'm sitting on my sit bones. Yeah. Then I give a bit of energy to the feet. I give energy to the kneecaps. I stay here for a little bit and I try to find that placement of the pelvis, which allows me to stay upright with the spine without contracting the abdominal wall. I search for my breath. Relax the diaphragm. Try to relax in the jaw and in the shoulders. And we can do the same thing here. Just gently pull your heart a bit forward, pull your elbows a little back maybe, and then you'll find how it catches in the hamstring and in the calves and the whole back of the leg. You will find that when it catches, that your whole diaphragm, the abdominal wall goes back into that alert state. Relax, ride your breath. If you want to do it Ashtanga style or this style, then remember, try to keep your shoulders and your neck and your jaw soft. If you reach there, top of the head reaches diagonally upwards and forwards, and the juice of the posture, like I like to say, is right here in the hip. You want to feel the lowest part of the belly folding over by the relaxation of the crease at the front of the hip, deepening. So the asana happens when the lower abdomen hits the thighs there, and that can mean that my spine is still upright. I'm going to show you from the side actually. So if you're here, instead of thinking of your asana as going this way, like a banana, you want to think of your asana as going like this. Yeah. So the lower abdomen by the crease at the front of the hip, deepening, softening, accessing space, allows you to dive just a little deeper forward with the lower abdomen towards the thighs. And then the upper back can stay upright. That's okay, like this. And then here I feel the middle part of my back. So I apply breath here. Now, I'm aware that this may not be everyone's reality. Some people may feel like this is a better version, a whole yin package. Allowing gravity to help you. If you are yinning it, if you're letting go completely in the posture, then really use the relaxation of your body to take that breath and massage the kidneys, open around the spine, give a little stretch to the back. All right, let us come up from here. Baddha Konasana time. So also the feet together. I'm going to go for a close one today. I can sit down on the floor now that I've done enough hippie things that I have now gained access to my hips again. So now I'm down on the floor, but you might need a blanket or a block or something, yeah, to come up and feel comfortable. Check your pelvis, soft here in the front of the hips. And lengthen the spine without too much effort from the abdominal wall. We're gonna go for this grip. I call it the Ashtanga grip. Two first fingers around the big toes. And then from here, I push my heels in towards each other. Not too much pressure, just a little bit. So I feel my whole leg. And then from here, I start lengthening the spine while thinking that my heart wants to move slightly forwards, slightly upwards, slightly towards the camera, towards you. Relaxing the diaphragm, finding the breath. Some of you may want to stay here and just breathe it out here. Some of you may want to abandon the Ashtanga grip and place your hands on the floor slightly in front of you. Keep pushing your sit bones back, glue your heels together, and then maybe just fall into a yinish version of things. Or if you feel like, we apply the same methodology like we did to the last forward bend. We think the lower abdomen, and here I should have said it in the last one, Mula Bandha is a good choice. Yeah. So you band up a little bit. You use that bandha to push your lower abdomen a little closer to your heels, feeling almost as if the hip, the whole pelvis is tilting backwards, pubic bone moving towards where the sit bones are, or the tailbone is, tailbone moving slightly upwards. I apply breath. Try to keep my shoulders soft, my jaw relaxed, neck long. And slowly withdraw. Gently come up, roll up, and we go for a child's pose. Come into your child's pose. Park your hips on your heels. See if you can, if you're a stickler for alignment, see if you can fit the sit bones right on top of the heel bones, or more or less, yeah, in the same alignment. So your thighs are aligned. Then lean forward, lean down, place your hands wherever you want them. Relax the weight of your head down and apply breath. Now compared to all the postures we've done previously, this one feels very nice and easy, like a restorative, relaxing one. So really use it. Relax every single muscle in your body and let the breath sweep through the whole body. You want to take a big breath now and feel like you're sending the breath almost down to your toes. How it opens in the hips, how it widens in the lower back, how it spreads in the rib cage. And then use those exhales and really relax your shoulders, neck, and jaw. The weight of the skull pulling the spine slightly more, stretching it open. Okay. Slowly from here, from one end of the spectrum to the other, let's go up to down dog. Place your hands, place your feet, reach your hips up. Let's see that I'm showing. Yes, I'm showing. Maybe I'll do this instead. Maybe this is better for you. So, place your feet at a comfortable distance. Yeah? Drop the weight of your head down. Ground through your heels. Maybe walk your feet out a little bit. Maybe shift your hips over in space a little. Relax the weight of your head. Soft neck. Loose jaw. Here I definitely apply Mula Bandha. Not a strong one. I feel quite calm. I feel the posture is quite not easy, but it's not unfriendly. So a little bandha and a lot of breath. Every inhale widens my rib cage. Every exhale sinks the skull down towards the floor, pulling the spine. Every inhale, I move energy towards the pelvis as though the inhale reaches the pelvis further up towards the ceiling. Every exhale, I let yin take over and gravity take over, and it relaxes my spine, lets it fall down. I keep working my legs, I keep working my feet. Awareness, muscular awareness, strength from feet, from legs, from pelvis, while relaxation is on top. Another element, of course, is your shoulders. If you feel a little tired, I'm gonna be in down dog for a bit, so you can come down and come up again. When you place your hands, you want them to be more or less shoulder width apart, and then find that external rotation in the shoulder, so there's space for the neck to relax. And then access the muscles below your shoulder blades, or see if you can move your shoulder blades when you do this. Instead of moving from the top of the shoulder, if you look up, instead of moving from here, move from here. Then we take our left foot forward. Start with the left today for, I don't know why. We come up on our fingertips. We push through the heels, meaning we engage the heels. One goes down, one goes back. So the back leg moves towards completely straight, energy around the kneecap. Here I sew together with my Mula Bandha once again. So I feel very strong where center is. I use my big toes and I push the big toes as though I wanted to stretch an invisible line in between them. I lengthen the spine, pulling the top of the head forward, while the tailbone keeps sinking a little further backwards, as though it wanted to pull the pelvis away from the ribcage. Breath is in the spine, breath is in your ribcage, breath wants to move all the way down to your hips, to your bandha. And then let's change. Moving back, shake it out if you need to. Other side, stepping forward, stepping into it. Align your heels with your sit bones. Forgot to say that. Engage your heels, one back, one down. Come up on your fingertips, so it's a little easier to breathe. Relax your diaphragm. Lengthen the spine. Let your bandha stay on. Pull the big toes apart. And then we step back into the downward facing dog. Let's come down through a cat position and let's land back in child. Relaxing shoulders, relaxing hips, mouth, jaw. The heart is probably racing a little bit from that long held down dog. It will calm down. But if you feel like it's racing too much, the more you focus on steadying your breathing, really giving in to your breath practice, the more calm the heart will feel in a bit. Keep relaxing in the belly, diaphragm, shoulders, neck, jaw. From here, let's slowly roll up. And now we're gonna come down laying on the ground. We come down laying on the ground like so. Why am I showing it this way? Like so. Feet together, starting with the hips. Now, of course, if you need something below your knees, below your thighs, get your blocks, get your blankets, get your pillows, um, sink down. You want to be able to relax in the hip. Let the whole width of the upper back spread out on the floor. Relax the front of your shoulder joint. Use a couple of exhales to ground you further. Let those exhales go all the way until the end, and then feel those last few moments of that exhale, how you just give in, draw, surrender to the pull of gravity. And it feels so nice. But when you do, the hips relax, the bones get heavier, and then gravity will stretch out a little more, and then you will feel more. Keep applying breath. Remember that if you've been practicing with me before, that metaphor of breath being like a maternal caress from the inside that cares for your wounds, that is present even when you're hurting, or maybe especially when you're hurting. Then from here we bring our feet, knees together. We're going to keep working the same groups of body parts. So we go for the laying down version of this hamstring opener. Find a strap, scarf, place it around. If you look at me, I try to keep my leg like a 90-degree angle, so the femur bone really drops into the hip joint. And I reaffirm that by placing my hands an arm length distance and then letting the head of the humerus of the top arm sink into the shoulder. Width in the back of the pelvis, width in the upper back. Some of you may want to lengthen your leg here. If that feels good, then you do that. Keep relaxing that hip. If you want a bit of a bigger stretch for your hamstring or your calf, of course you can pull closer, but you can also just work your foot. The more you flex the foot, the more you engage the energy from the heel, sending it up towards the ceiling, the more you will feel it in the back of the leg. While at the same time allowing the upper back to stay completely relaxed. Other side. We strap the left foot in, we reach it up towards the ceiling. Find that same angle so the leg sinks into the hip. We place our hands, we place the other foot, we try to feel equal weight from the back of the pelvis, both sides, so it's sinking down, so there's width. Same thing from the upper back. And then if you want a bit more sensation, if you want a bigger stretch, then work your foot. Or maybe pull a little closer if you want. The main thing is that you can relax into the breathing. Don't let the posture kidnap your breath. Let your breath be the guide for how you adjust the posture, how you address the posture. When you lay down, the breath can really spread and it can actually slow down even more. There's not much weight for you to carry now, just the psychological weight of the pain in that left calf and that left hamstring. So enjoy that feeling of breathing into the full length, width of the torso, sending the breath all the way down, using the exhales to release any excess tension that you got going in your shoulders, in your diaphragm, in your jaw. And then we let that go. We're going to bring both knees into the chest. This kind of reverse child's pose. I keep a very loose grip. Once again, I grab hold of the opposite wrist. Some of you may want to interlace your fingers. Try to make sure that the whole width and length of your spine is comfortably moving towards the floor so you can relax. Upper back, back of the pelvis, back of the head. And then we finally come into a little twist. Let's do a regular one. Oh, this is a great angle. Now you can really see. So I think 90-degree angle from the femur bone into the hip, sticking the top bone in, sticking the lower bone in so the knees are aligned. From there, I try to place the pelvis just right below the rib cage, taking in consideration that I have a curvature in the lower back. Then I place the shoulder girdle just on top of the rib cage and then the head. I extend the arm. I rotate that arm externally. If you have a lot of bandha practice, it's a good place to glue the pelvis, the center together with bandha here. It will inhibit the feeling of being able to really expand into that twist, but it places the pelvis and it places the spine correctly. So especially if you have lower back issues or hip issues or spine issues, it's good to align in these twists, these laying down twists, at least once in a while. And then let the breath roam inside. I bring it into the left side of my rib cage. I try to bring it all the way down towards the hips. Use every exhale as a great opportunity to relax that left shoulder blade, the left arm, skull. Okay, let's go for the other side. Let me see if I can find another angle. Maybe this is a good angle. Yeah, maybe from the top. We'll give it a try. So, same thing. Trying to find that 90-degree angle. Yeah. Pelvis below your rib cage below the shoulder, extending the arm, rotating that arm externally. The alignment of the spine, softening the diaphragm, breathing into the rib cage. Okay, then slowly, slowly come back to the front. There we go. Bring your knees back center in that kind of reverse child's pose. Just grab the knees very softly. Maybe you experience some tenderness now in the rib cage. Maybe you feel your lower back is a bit achy. Use your breath, calm it down, open it up, relax it. Use the breath, supply energy to that relaxed area. And then from there, let's extend out into Savasana. Lay down, blanket, pillows, covers, whatever you want. Get comfortable. I probably have told you this before, but Savasana is my most treasured position. um, I find that I can do such good breath work, such good mind work in the posture because of its friendliness. Uh, so learn how to make Savasana, how to do Savasana for a little bit longer. It takes a long time for the body to sink down to a place where it's so relaxed that it opens for the mind to be able to conduct a very sharp, not sharp, very alert awareness practice inside. The more the tissues relax, the more access you will have to feel deeper sensations, to feel those hidden corners that otherwise are shielded by your tension. So as you lay down, the body relaxes completely. You can use breath, those exhales, and keep sinking, keep sinking, keep sinking. Keep focusing on the breath though. And then when you feel that the body has gotten to that place where it feels all liquid, all heavy, all giving in, letting go-ish, then lead your attention away from that breath. Maybe keep an anchor there so you know you can come back. But let it visit the body. Let mind travel throughout all the corners of your being. And not to find anything special. It's like touching base with yourself from the sensory perspective. Feeling yourself, I suppose. And as you're feeling, there are some areas that are more tricky, that are hurting, or some areas where you don't feel anything. Remember that equanimity, yeah, and remember that equanimity, when translated into physicality, is relaxation. So you will find that when your mind encounters something that it doesn't like, whether it's numbness or intense pain, it was going to go towards that tension state again. That's reactivity in your body. Now, if you know how to relax, how to technically relax, so to speak, uh, use that as a gateway towards equanimity for your mind. Okay, I will leave you here. Hopefully, you can stay in your savasana a little bit longer. I feel a bit foolish to just sit here and and disturb you in your meditation. So please keep practicing, conclude your savasana by yourself, and I shall see you next time.